What's going on, everyone? American and Leeds podcast. I'm Alex Simon. Just wanted to do a little bit of a Tuesday night stream. I wanted to break down the game. I wanted to talk a little bit about the impact of the water breaks, talk a little bit about the back line, talk about Chelsea Football Club and how they like to set up, and then just preview tomorrow where we'll be doing a little bit of a live podcast with Jeer and Michael simultaneously. So that'll be cool. Let's see here. Just driving this thing for the first time. So I had to rewatch the game just to figure out what happened. And in rewatching it, I think it kind of made me realize what Leeds are this season and understand the expectations of what we'll have from Leeds United Football Club and the Jesse Marsh system. So the first 15 minutes, we were what Bielsa would like to call the protagonists. We had the majority of possession. We were creating chances and opportunities in the box. Right around the 15-minute mark, I wouldn't say that was tactically the best model, because I think Southampton was purposely being passive in that first 15 minutes. And then Diego Llorente makes a do-or-die tackle. It's off of a turnover from Rasmus Christensen, and the center backs are way too far forward. Right around minute 17, Tyler Adams turns off for a second. There's a poor touch, and there's a shot on goal. Right around minute 20, Dan James starts warming up, and you see Paddy Bamford rubbing the groin. And that's the first water break. Rodrigo, there's a turnover in midfield, and there's a shot on goal from Bella Chip. I'm not know if I'm saying that right, but there's a shot on goal from the Rodrigo turnover. I think it was like an absolute rocket where it's like bending kind of towards the goal, but it was off. Young player that just took a chance. Minute 27, Paddy Bamford comes out. Dan James comes in. I think he's playing as striker when he first comes in, but he's not playing as striker in the second half. Second half, Leeds come out. I think they're a completely different team. I think Jesse Marsh puts Rodrigo as striker, empowers him to do his thing. I think he gets excited and pumped up for that. We all know the 2 goals come. And right after the second goal, Leeds get passive. And I have a note here that there's times where we're just sending the ball down the pitch. There's no, we're at minute 68 and there is no kind of, we're playing it out at minute 68, which I thought was completely dangerous. There's a water break. After the water break, Southampton puts on their third substitute. On the American broadcast, which I think is the same one as Sky or whatever is being used in the UK, the broadcasters are going, it's a 4-2-2 by the Saints. Right then and there, right after that water break, Leeds immediately concede to Joe Aribo. And then, again, we're just knocking it down the other pitch. I think out of that break as well, Leeds go 5 at the back. So we are no longer the protagonists at all. And then at minute 76, that's when the note passing to Dan James happened, which I think is – I remember last year the note got passed to Calvin Phillips, and now obviously Marsh is still continuing to use the note passing method. I've never seen it. Please let me know if this is a thing that happens in football. But anyways, it's strange. Minute 80, Ralph Hasenhüttl passes a note to his center back. Is this something that happens in the Red Bull network? So I'm going with this note passing. Okay. Shortly after that, Walker Peters scores. Minute 82, Senny and Click come on. Credit Dan James for being a professional. Dan James gets substitute, I think, for Click or Sinistera. I mean, subbing off the sub is always harsh in football, and the man was a professional. Did not do anything, didn't complain, didn't throw a tantrum on the sideline. I know Dan James isn't a favorite of the fan base right now. I think it stinks he's had to play striker for what feels like a majority of his Leeds career. But, I mean, he hasn't done anything wrong body language-wise. He's been a good team player. So, I mean, I credit him for that. 87, Forshaw comes on for Rocca. And really, at minute 93 is our one in that last half hour is the best chance from Click. Click kind of flicks a ball into Rodrigo. Rodrigo turns. It's just him and the keeper, and he makes a shot right on goal, right at the keeper. So, and that's it. So obviously, we can Monday morning quarterback it. And I said really that afternoon, I would have loved to see Forshaw and Click come on a lot earlier. I think he got out. I think Jesse March got out coached with the water breaks, which brings me to the second topic. So water breaks won't happen again this season. So if there wasn't that water break, I don't think we lose that game. I mean, it doesn't allow them to Hasenhüttl to go to a 4-2-2-2. I mean, maybe that, and us to go 5 at the back. That kind of break and coaching timeout, I don't know. I think it was unfair, and I think in that moment, Marsh got out coached. So that is what it is. Stinks. I don't wish it happened, but if there was not a water break, if it was regular temperatures out, I think for some reason we win that game, which is ironic, I know, because the press conference that happened earlier this week. Let's see. The next point in the rundown is the back line. I don't think there's not anybody in particular in the back line that, I have issue with. Like Rasmus Christensen has struggled a little bit. He's also had moments that have been good. Pascal Stroik, I mean, how can you, these are tall center backs. I don't think that anybody in the back line I can pick out. Maybe you could say Diego Llorente has a yep. Really, Robin Koch, I mean, if you don't stick out like that, like the other three have kind of in moments, he's been relatively quiet. I think he's done a good job. My point is, I don't think it's their fault. Firpo was getting rinsed last year. Aileen had his troubles last year. That's where the goals are going to come from. So it's up to Jesse Marsh to adjust. I think we need to set the back line up for success better. And Chelsea, ironically, play a very narrow front three and wide athletic fullbacks. So Reece James and Cucurella are coming into Elland Road. I think this is a big challenge for Jesse Marsh. I don't know how he's going to handle it. I don't know if the team's prepared, but I just think, get out your popcorn, root for Leeds. And I don't think he's an idiot, but this is not the team that I think, as many of the traditional big sides are, that is set up to give us trouble. Personally, I think Pulisic does start from an American standpoint, I think, well, he might not start, but he's going to get game times and he could get a goal. That's just my humble opinion. Let's see here. And the final thought really is tomorrow, Michael Angier on the podcast. We're going to go live. It's going to be at 10 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. in the States. Michael and I are on the East Coast. He's in Toronto. I'm in upstate New York. Gier is in Ireland, obviously. So we're going to go live and do a little bit of we're going to put a bow on the Southampton game, preview Chelsea, and then who knows, talk about some other cool stuff. So that's it. Got a little note from Todd. Agreed, Jesse should have subbed earlier. It seems that if he had a striker he could count on off the bench, he would have just done that. Yeah, I think the striker issue was a problem. He might have been second guessing himself. I don't know when Jaffe said he wasn't available, the quote unquote dead leg that happened the day of. I think the water break, he second guessed himself. He thought he could just sit deep, and it's just like, you can sit deep. We can start passing the ball down. Like literally we were just knocking the ball down. Like sometimes there's like, you want to try a long pass and second ball and all that. They weren't even doing that. They were literally kicking the ball down. When I rewatched this game, they were literally kicking the ball down the other end of the field and just giving it to the other goalkeeper. Like we can do that at minute 90, but to do it at minute 70 is insane. Minute 75, I mean, you're just asking for added pressure. So, and then going 5 at the back, I just don't think the team clearly didn't understand the assignments. The first goal, I mean, is obviously, if you look back, it's shambolic. You have Raka. I mean, look at Raka in that. And it's not his fault, but he just is like, I don't know where to go here. He's just trailing back going, and he finds himself in the middle of the goal. Like, it's like, dude, Jack Harrison obviously turns off because he thinks Pascal's backing him up. Pascal's not. Pascal's in the center. And so it's just like, yeah. And then Marsh in the post game was like, well, we went to 5 at the back to prevent those type of things. And it's like, well, it didn't work because they didn't know what they were doing. We need hold up play, drawing fouls to slow things down. I thought they did a little bit of that. Sure, a little bit more would have helped. Yeah, they need to do more time management for sure. So we'll see. I love Jesse. I mean, I think he's going to adjust here, but it's going to be really interesting to see Chelsea, man. It's going to be really interesting to see what Chelsea, because they have athletic fullbacks. I mean, Reece James scored against Tottenham. So I don't know what he's going to do. I don't think he's going to want to concede a point. I don't think he's insane enough to. I think he's going to have a plan B. That's what I'm saying. So he might start with plan A a little bit, but if we go down 2 goals, I think he'll at least have a plan B, and I think the plan B will hopefully be working. So yeah, folks, that's it. Just wanted to jump on here for about 10 minutes, talk a little bit about Leeds, what I saw in the game, because I just thought it was like, what the hell happened? I'm still like, why do we lose that? Didn't lose the game, but why did we drop those 2 points? And, lesson learned by Jesse Marsh. Hate to say that it was on him, but it's on him, and appreciate him for taking full responsibility after the game. Not that he wouldn't, but obviously this won't hopefully be a theme throughout the rest of the year. It's a slippery slope in the league. If we don't get any points next week, we've got Brighton away. That becomes a bigger game, and then it's like it goes on from there. I know we have Everton towards the end of the month. So, anyways, fellas. Leeds, marching on together. Talk to you soon.